I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video, we'll try to understand how to simplify rational expressions. So we have this kind of an equation here which says solve 2 over 5 times within brackets 5 over 9 plus x over 3 minus 1 over 15 times 5x over 3 minus half equals to half. You can pause the video anytime, solve, and look into my suggestions. As you see in this particular example, we have rational expressions on each side of equality. So we are saying solve. So it's basically solve equation, right? So it is actually solving equation, right? Let me write clearly. We should say solve rational equation, since we have equal to sign here. Now solve means what? Solve means find the value of x, find value of x so that left side is equal to right side. That is what in general we mean solve. Now when we have a lot of fraction type things which we are saying rational expressions with different denominators, what is the strategy to solve such an equation? Strategy here is to find what? Strategy is to find the lowest common denominator. That is the strategy. Now in this example, we'll actually see how to find lowest common denominator, right? So that is the whole idea. Now let me begin by expanding the given equation, and then we'll see how to simplify. So first, let us apply the distributive property, right? So we'll do distributive property to expand, and then we'll combine the terms. So 2 over 5 times 5 over 9, if you multiply that, so let me write it in steps. So we have 2 over 5 times 5 over 9 plus 2 over 5 times x over 3 minus 1 over 15 times 5x over 3. Minus minus becomes plus, so we could write this as 1 over 15 times 1 over 2 equals to half. So this is what we get. Now to simplify this, we can first cancel out things which are common, so that will go one time. In this case nothing gets cancelled, but this can be simplified, and here it's okay. So we could write this equation as 2 over 9, right? So we have 2 over 9, 2 times x, it is 2x, 5 times 3 is 15, minus, we have x here, 3 times 3 is 9, and then we have plus 1 over 30 equals to half, correct? I hope this step is absolutely clear. We just simplified this expression. Now let's get back to solving such an equation which has all the terms which are rational. So now we have to have a common denominator, and that is where the strategy of lowest common denominator comes, right? So lowest common denominator. This is what we are looking for. How do we calculate that? Now there are different denominators here. Let us write them down. One of the denominators is 9, right? The other one is 15. Then again 9, so I'm not writing it. Then we have 30. So these are, and then we have 2 also. Now these are different denominators in our equation. Now the strategy to find the lowest common denominator is to write their prime factors, right? So what we do at this stage is we write their prime factors. Let me write down here, prime factors. Now prime factors for 9 are 3 times 3, correct? For 15, it is 3 times 5. For 30, how do we find prime factors? Well, let me take this up also separately. 30. So you could do like we learned earlier, prime factorization. 30 could be divided by 2, 2 times 15, and then 15. So try to divide them by prime numbers one by one. 2, 3, 5, like that, right? So 3 times 5, is it okay? So 2, 3, and 5, when you multiply, you get 30, and these are the prime factors of 30. So we'll write 30 as 2 times 3 times 5, okay? and 2. 2 is itself a prime factor. So we'll write just as 2. You should not be writing 1, as you know 1 is not a prime number. Okay. Now from these prime factors, how do we calculate the lowest common denominator? That is a big question. Now the strategy is, look at each factor. Start with the lowest one. Let's say 2. How many 2's? Find the maximum number of 2's. Well, there is only 1 and 1, so we could take only 1 as common. So we have taken care of all the 2's. Is that okay? Fine. Times. Now let's look into 3's. If you see there is 1 3 here, 1 3 here, but in this case we have 2 3's. So what we do is we'll take the maximum number of factors of the same kind. So it is 3 times 3. So it is 3 times 3, which is important. So we have taken care of 3. How about 5's? There are only 1 and 1, so we'll take one of them. So that becomes the lowest common denominator, right? So we are just multiplying by the minimum number of terms so that we get the lowest common denominator. Correct? Now that is 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 3 is 9. That gives us 90, right? So the lowest common denominator is 90. So we have found what is lowest common denominator, and I hope this method is straightforward and easy to understand, right? If not, you can look into some videos where I'm discussing lowest common denominator in further details, right? Now the idea is get rid of fraction. That's the idea, right? So the strategy is get rid of fractions. So we have get rid of fractions. Now how do we do that? Now in this equation, times 90 both sides. So times 90 both sides. That is how we'll get rid of fraction. That is the strategy. So we'll multiply each and every term by 90. Do you understand? That is the strategy. So let me show this step. So we have 2 over 9, right? Plus 2x over 15 minus x over 9 plus 1 over 30 equal to half. So when I say get rid of fractions by multiplying by 90 on both sides, means we multiply each term by 90. 90 times this, 90 times this, 90 times this, 90 times this, and 90 times the next one. Okay. So since we did the same thing on both sides, equation is maintained, correct? At this stage, just as we simplified and wrote the equation, we'll do it again. So 90 divided by 9 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. So we get 20 here. In this particular case, 15 times what is 90, right? 15 times 6 is 90, correct? So we get 6 times 2, 12. So we could write this as 12x. You get an idea, right? So when you divide 90 by 15, you get 15 times 6. And when you multiply 6 with 2, you get 12. That is how we are getting it, okay? Now in this case, 90 divided by 9 is 10. So we can write this as minus 10x. This goes 3 times, so we get plus 3. And 90 divided by 2 is 45. So what you get is a linear equation, right? So we have got rid of all the fraction part, and we have a linear equation to solve. So let's combine the terms. 12x minus 10x is 2x, right? So this gives us 2x. So what we did first is combine these two. And then 20 plus 3, these two, okay? 20 plus 3 is 23. So we have plus 23 equals to 45. Now we can solve the equation by taking away 23 from 45. So 2x is 45 minus 23, correct? And that gives you 22. And x is equals to 22 divided by 2, which is 11. So see, that is how you could solve such a rational expression. I'm Anil Kumar, and I hope all these steps are absolutely clear. You can actually go through this video once again and understand all the steps, right? So we have our answer, x equals to 11, right? Now what you can do as an exercise is substitute x and check if we really get half while solving or simplifying the left side. So that will be a good exercise for you to simplify rational expressions. I'm Anil Kumar, and this video is for those students who just started learning about rational expressions. And I hope this lengthy description, which I've taken time to explain helps you to understand the concept. I'm Anil Kumar. You can always share and subscribe my videos. Thank you and all the best.